Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the crypto space, in the XRP community, in the Bitcoin communities, in the Solana communities, and even in the Dogecoin communities? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on.
Right.
Breaking news. But we've got the Trump crypto plan. We got Kamala. Looks like she might have been caught cheating with the ABC media. A lot of other intrigue. And then there was another shooting attempt right there at Trump's golf course. And that is ongoing news and report. We're going to dig in because there's a lot of critical information that goes in and around that. But we do have some really important places that we want to start off within the crypto space. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because we love to engage with that. We got a lot of commentary from some of the crypto community that is crypto related, as well as maybe political. So we got to get into that. And we've got the wave of innovation. So I think we might even start out with some videos that came from the previous wave innovation. Everyone's getting ready for 2025 and the big reveal as to where it is going to be. We don't know. But when it's announced, we will know.
Everyone will know, Jeff.
Everyone will know.
Let's get this started. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody, to On the Chain. Go ahead and drop where you guys are coming in from. Without further delay, let's jump right into it. So I think we wanted to first talk about this, the wave of innovation. They've rebranded. They're big. They're back and bigger and better than last year. What we heard, it was just March, middle of March there in Australia. What a journey that was. We've talked about that journey that we made over there, and 28 hours later, and we lost the day. It's like we left on a Tuesday and we got there on a Thursday, and we're like, Wednesday just disappeared. No one knows what happened to it. So talking about the wave of innovation, the Builder Series open panel discussions with the Crypto Eddie. It was blockchain backer, the Bearable Bull, Tori West, who's a builder on there, and she was also in the Olympics. She did pretty well in the Olympics. Shen Crypto, Shen is also a builder, and he's doing some really exciting stuff. And then of course us. This is the two of us right here. But the speaker session added to wave of innovation, building a stronger ecosystem together. And then you have Tori on the left.
Look at that.
There you are with the Bearable Bull. There I am.
Dead center.
There you are, Jeff. And there's Shen. And then there's blockchain backer. And off to the right, which you don't see in the image, was Crypto Eddie. So she's in there, but you don't. She was pretty much doing the panel and asking all the questions. So that was a really exciting, fun event, right? It's good.
It was awesome. It was so well put together. It was so amazing. It was so much fun. That was March. It went by so fast. I can't believe where we're at now. And, we're getting ready for the next one. But as we dig into it, I think there's a lot of importance to what the team over at Wave of Innovation put together, focused on building in the space, gives us a little bit of a reprieve from only talking about all the different things that are going on politically, even though we talk mostly about crypto, but then geopolitics and politics. So we got to get into at least a good starting point. While we talk about Wave of Innovation, why doesn't everyone just give a quick shout out to where you're tuning in from, what platform you're streaming on and watching on? Because we've got our one viewer over on Twitch. That's Crypto Whelp. He's holding down the fort over on Twitch. So that's important. And BMAC got the mocha pot. Good job, man. BMAC watching on the last show. got the mocha pot. You got the stovetop mocha pot.
Yeah, baby.
We got a couple of them at the house, and I even have an electric one at the office.
The mocha pot is phenomenal. So did you buy it? Did you complete with the Badass Yeti's coffee? That's what I want to know.
That's what we got to find out.
That right there, and the fresh beans.
Then that has to come.
You'll have beans that were roasted within a few days coming to your house. That's what's missing right there.
That's right.
We got Peter the Cabbage Eater. He's coming in from Toronto.
You know who else we have here that we haven't seen in a long time?
Barbie Taylor.
I saw that. Holy cow. Tomorrow's Songbird's third birthday, too.
Wow. Songbird's third birthday already? Please. Wow. Incredible.
Got California here.
California.
I know that probably took a lot to admit, but there he is coming in from California.
Got Justin Harrison coming in from Kansas. Just finished watching your Chiefs.
Oh, that's right.
Let me explain something to you. There is no game unless the refs come in there and help out the Chiefs every time. I was like, I even posted about it. I'm like, The refs have to save the Chiefs every single time.
Mm.
Every single time without fail.
That's right.
Every single time. It's unbelievable. Congratulations on your win there against the Chiefs. I know, man, they just keep winning. They just keep winning. But one of these days, I just give me my Bills one Super Bowl. That's all I want, man. That's all I want.
All right.
Mark's coming in from Compton. Okay, sure. Sure you are.
BMAC, so excited to get one. Got Illy for it. You know what? Illy's a good start. If you haven't had it before, start with the Illy because it's pre-ground typically. It's a good starting point. Then you start working your way through some of the quality coffees, and you get the beans, grind it down nice and fine, put it in the mocha pot. Just make sure your water level doesn't go above that little screw vent in the thing. Just get right up to that point. It works. It takes, when you put it on, if you from the cold setting on the stove, typically takes about 8 minutes.
There you go. So I have to do a little commercial announcement here because Barbie is probably not familiar with. She drinks the Death Wish, good coffee, honorable coffee, very good. You know, done by vet, so very good. But here is the Badass Yeti's coffee, and is it any good? Nah, it's effing great. Let's put it that way. It's great. It's good stuff. Again, this is stuff that Jeff and I, you know, we won't put our name on it unless we're both coffee snobs. So there you go. There's part of it. So the Obsidian Bold, if you want a good bold coffee, here it is right here. Highly recommend it. Like Jeff said, get the beans, grind it down yourself. That way you're having a nice fresh, and the beans are they're fresh roasted. Order comes in, beans get roasted, order goes out. Stuff you get in the store has likely been sitting there for 6 to 12 months. So the beans, and you can tell the condition of the bean when you get whole beans. Ground, you're never going to tell too much of the difference. But ground, you're going to lose a lot anyway. But I want to throw it in there for everybody. I threw it down there in the chat. It's also in the in below the what do you call it? The details under the YouTube video. But there you go. If you're looking for something a little bit lighter, this is our Brewed Awakening Badass Yetis one. That'll wake you up. Right. Morning blend right there. And then you got the mountain blend, the mountain mist blend. So a little bit of dark and medium roast fusion.
Yeah. And then on a grinder chip, I think, you know, I just have a regular grinder. I don't know what it was. It's got it on Amazon. I know a friend of mine is a grinder snob also. So it has different settings.
Gone through so many of them, Jeff. My God, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a decent grinder for like $20.
Yeah, you can get a decent one. If you want to get one into the ones that get, you know, really. And the thing too is if you're just grinding for one day, right? You're not grinding it for a week. You're not grinding it. So, you know, one of those little ones, the one I have right now has actually been pretty decent. You know, you kind of just push down on the top and, you know, and the longer you hold it, the finer it gets. You know, it's pretty simple.
Look at that. Look at that. Nice, badass Yeti. It's a white Yeti.
There you go. Bam.
Coming in from Newcastle, Australia.
Newcastle, right.
And
so buddy says he likes
we have Nigeria here too. I just saw
Nigeria. There we go. Beautiful.
Bud over there. Yeah.
I boil the water first, and I put the boiling water into the pilon, a little Cuban coffee. Pilon is very good too. Add coffee, screw it shut, then you don't cook your grounds. Water begins to boil in seconds. There you go. Pilon is good. I'm a little bit more partial to Pilon over Ely, but they're both good. They're solid. I switch back and forth. Justin says, as soon as I start driving trucks again, I'm going to order some badass Yeti coffee. Can't afford it right now. Folgers Black Silk it is. Listen, Folgers is no joke, man. Folgers is not bad. It's decent. Depends which one you get, but you know what? People go, not the instant. The instant is a different thing, but I'm talking about the regular Folger grounds. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. Jim is here, so we're getting good. Heading over to X. All right. Grutoshi. Thank you for that.
You got that Grutoshi going.
San Antone. I was just in San Antone, I want to say maybe a month ago. I was there on business, came in for 2 days, and I love that city.
San Antonio.
It's a great place. Smash the likes.
It's a great place.
Taylor, jump out of live chat for a second. Smash it.
And it's great to see Barbie Taylor on here. It's been like
it is fantastic to see that. Yeah, it's been a while, right? It's always the OGs always come back. And then speaking of Bill Taylor, let's watch this little video. This is just a short here. And in this video, this was a keynote with Bill Morgan. You won't know him at Belisarius 2020. And this is Matt Donovan from Ripple. And watch what he says right off the bat. Again, just pretty interesting what he talks about the Wave of Innovation Conference.
Maybe kick it off with a thank you, right, to the XRP and XRPL.
Just for some, just for people on the left, there is Bill Morgan. You know him; he's an attorney. He was also a big sponsor of the event himself. He also participated in there. And you have Matt Donovan on the right, who is with Ripple. Just want to kind of put it in perspective here. Yeah, context here.
Maybe kick it off with a thank you, right, to the XRP and XRPL and broader community. We were invited through, obviously, the XRP Gold Coast team, and I've been into a lot of events. And this is probably the most friendly, engaging, and community-driven one that I've been to, which is exciting, right? Because we on Ripple, again, we go to these conferences with our Ripple hats on very often, and maybe too often. But I think what I'm seeing is that there's a broader community, an extension of communities, right, with others in the Futureverse network and the Root network, and others who are really building and helping pioneer. And I couldn't share the sentiment that Crypto Erie had mentioned, where developers need to continue to flood into the XRPL ecosystem and build new products. So a gratitude from us at Ripple, and maybe a round of applause for you.
Yeah, they cut it off too soon because the round of applause was big. People went crazy. They went nuts. And so you can see everybody there. Of course, you can see.
Just getting into it. Oh, look at that. On the chain. Look at that.
The chain is over there. As you can see, everybody. John Deaton was also, sponsored. Brass, what do you call it? Brass knuckles. That's like brass knuckles. It's like this logo of the book itself. But yeah, what a phenomenal conference. Thought we'd kick it off with that. But speaking of Bill Morgan, and you'll probably recognize him on X when you see this. But Travis put this out. Happening now, the Kamala campaign is in big trouble now. The whistleblower affidavit has been released showing that ABC colluded with the Kamala campaign, proving illegal collusion. This is a textbook fascism. Should result in Kamala Harris immediately being removed from the ballot. This should be resolved before the election, so we know the exact extent before voting. At this point, how can anyone call themselves anti-fascist and vote for Harris Walz, right? And the affidavit is laid out, but basically saying that they basically had the questions, and knew what the questions were going to be, and they also wanted pushback that there would be fact checking on Trump and none on her. So there's a lot here, and this is big if it's true. Again, we don't know if it's true. Nobody knows really, right? It is an affidavit. It's under perjury, right? So if someone signs an affidavit, they're going to perjure themselves. So, but again, it's I take everything with a grain of salt, because at this point, who knows if it's real? It is pretty interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think you would either, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill chimed in here. He said, you just can't remove Kamala from the ballot and replace her with someone else. I mean, after all, she won Democrat primaries, didn't she? What a shot. A big shot. Boom. And he hits. It's like, that's the funny thing about it was, you're always talking about, we always hear the Democrats, Jeff, we have to save democracy, save democracy. Meanwhile, 14 million people turned out in the primaries for Joe Biden. They cast their vote for Joe Biden. He received 14 million votes, and Kamala Harris got 0 votes. He was just awarded. And it's kind of weird, too, because the announcement came out on X. It wasn't on White House stationery. It was some generic letter that was written by, looked like an intern, right? It was poorly written, just saying like, hey, I'm stepping out of the race and I'm endorsing Kamala. That was it. So
look at that, Chip. Barbie just ordered the darkest roast of the badass Yetis.
There you go. And you'll have to check in, Barbie, and let us know how you like it, because it is some good stuff. And I hope you really enjoyed that. Hopefully you got the beans, but either way, it's fresh roasted, and you're going to immediately know the difference.
You're going to love it.
You're going to love
Chip,
it.
Yeah. To the point that you brought up. So we had Bill Morgan commenting. Now, if you follow Bill Ackman has gone through his process of being red pilled. It's been going over a period.
It's taken a while. It's taken about almost a year. Yeah.
It's taken about a year. It's slow rolled, and you could see it happening. And if you go back and you read his posts over the past year, it's really intriguing to see when someone has this realization of truth. And he fought it for a little while and fought it, and now he's fully embraced. And it's great to see. But one of his points to that said, the same affidavits he had said earlier, like 4 hours ago, he had said, if indeed this turns out to be true, which is looking increasingly likely, consider the character of the presidential candidate that would cheat in a debate, allowing her staff to negotiate the questions in advance, the camera angles, the required fact checking of her opponent. And that's one of the things I kept saying while we're watching the debate, is that even the camera angles, the lighting, and I was commenting, Chip, I
And the hot mic
commented to you
too.
as well. Yeah, her mic was always on, so her mic was always hot. Trump's wasn't. They had her lit up and illuminated to make her glowing, and they had Trump's imagery really matte and just kind of flat. And so it was just that distinction from a viewer perspective. Plus, she was always just way too prepared for her answers, and she had a very Obama-esque kind of delivery in how she did it. So then Bill just wrote recently, he wrote, if you're a journalist, your reputation is all you have. So when someone releases an affidavit which claims that you are a major player in defrauding the American people in a presidential debate, if you're not guilty as alleged, you have no choice but to immediately issue a statement denying the claims. For silence is an admission of complicity. The allegations and affidavit have been available now for hours, yet crickets. And and it's amazing. So you see some of the commentary said this isn't new. Here's the flashback. While working for CNN in 2016, Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton the questions for a debate with Trump in advance. Now Donald Brazile works for ABC. Think about that. Now, the other thing is, at that same period of time, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the head of the DNC. She had to resign in disgrace because of the questions that were given. There was a whole turmoil over all of this stuff. So where is it?
She resigned from being the head of the DNC.
Right, exactly, of the DNC.
Not from Congress, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, she should have. Yeah, she should have left Congress. Is the same as Elizabeth Warren. As soon as it turned out that she misappropriated someone else's culture for her own gain, she should have also resigned due to ethic violations. But
her whole career, Jeff, was built on her pretending that she was a Native American. Imagine that. And if it had been any Republican, you know what would have happened, Jeff? It would have been like it would have been nonstop, 24/7. She has to quit, right? But no, not with Warren. Mm-hmm. And some other developing news too. John Deaton had challenged Elizabeth Warren to 5 debates. They had 2 debates planned, and he said, "Let's do single issue debates." Right? He picked 5 issues. Let's debate on a single issue, and let's go back and forth. And she denied that. And then somebody in the comments posted this this combination of her bragging about the fact that she got a scholarship because she won some debate in high school, but yet her policies aren't good enough to sit there and debate John Deaton. And when she was running the first time, she had 4 debates. But again, this is how cheat operators they operate, right? This is how somebody like a Warren who pretended and stole somebody else's, heritage, right? I mean, but who cares? It's a Democrat. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But watch this. Watch all the time she bragged. Yippee! I was a debate winner and I got a scholarship.
A high school debater and I got a scholarship to college. Woohoo! I got a scholarship to college. Yay!
He is so inauthentic.
God, it's so embarrassing to watch.
I mean, God almighty, she's an embarrassment.
Scholarship to college. Yay! I was a high school debater and I got a scholarship to college. Woo! I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college. Debater, yes. I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college. Yay!
Was it as an American Indian or was it as a loony white lady? A loony white nut job. I didn't get that. Yeah. I didn't get it as a loony white heritage. I got it for impersonating Native American because my mama and my papa she had high cheekbones. Can you imagine believing you're Native American because your grandmother or grandfather told you had high cheekbones? Why the hell does that make sense in any universe, Jeff?
I got a scholarship. Yay.
Yay. Yay.
What's with the yay? What's with the yay?
I was a high school debater and I got a scholarship to college. Woohoo!
You know what she reminds me of? Did you ever see the movie maybe I shouldn't even say this, but it's just like she's kind of like a string bean up there. She kind of reminds me of do you remember when Robin Williams played Popeye and remember Olive Oil?
Oh
Kind of
yeah.
looks like an olive oil or something. She's a really
I got a
awkward.
scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college.
God.
Yay! I was a high school debater and I got a scholarship to college. Woo! I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college. Debater,
Yay.
yes. I got a scholarship to college. Yay!
Semester
I got a
debater.
scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship. Yay! I was a high school debater and I got a scholarship.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Woohoo!
What's the
I got
woo
a
and the wah
scholarship
and the
to
yay?
college.
know.
Yay! I
Why
got a scholarship
yay?
to college. Yay! I was a high school debater and I got a scholarship to college. Woo! I got a scholarship to college. Yay!
Yay.
I got a scholarship to college.
Later.
Debater, yes. I got a scholarship to college. Yay!
I mean,
4'3", 85 pounds ago.
4-3.
I won 3rd place in my 7th grade science fair. Yay!
Yeah.
Not
Well, I would have won
bragging.
first place in one of my science fairs, but one of the seniors, as a freshman in high school, and I did this whole thing with fish and breeding fish, and I had the aquarium set up. And I go in the
Oh,
next day,
sweet.
Jeff,
They got
and
eaten.
all of the fish were floating on top of the
Oh,
aquarium.
they should have been eaten. That would have
The
been better.
Drano. They poured Drano in there.
Oh, that's
And then they made
horrible.
it even worse for me. They're like, yeah, okay, we found the 4 kids that did it. They admitted it. Now you go to the principal's office. And then like they had to apologize to me. And I was like, this isn't gonna go well, man. This is just let's just drop it. You know, they gave me an A because obviously it was a sympathy vote, but still, I got an A. Yay. I didn't earn it. Yay. But I did it as a white guy. Yay.
Mm.
I didn't do it as I didn't pretend. That was when I was like saying I was a Native American, Jeff, and then they gave me an A. So that's how I
back
was.
then.
Yeah, I was just like I had high cheekbones.
Yay.
My mama and my papa told me I had high cheekbones. Yay.
Hit the wrong
These
button.
people are insane, Jeff. They're just insane, aren't they?
They are insane. I was trying to pull this article up.
What are you looking for?
No, it was just article. I thought it was just kind of along these lines, but I'll just put up the title of it. So it's family of Blackfeet chief, face of NFL's Redskins for 48 years, wants his image back in the NFL. Montana Senator Daines joins family's effort about righting a wrong while NFL's commanders want to honor team heritage. How about just change the name back to what it was and then give them back the honorary? Because that was the whole point to begin with. I just thought, the whole narrative is twisted and backwards.
I mean, like you can't, like you couldn't have the
name
Redskins.
of a football team.
Come on, man.
Of a football team, they're fighters. Yeah, I mean, it's just like they're warriors, and that was the whole point.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
People on the left they're just.
You want to see a man on the street interview?
Oh yeah, those are the best.
Watch this.
Or Kamala.
Oh, Trump all day. Matter of fact, Kamala Harris. Matter of fact, all the Democrats, they all need to be locked up for treason. I'm not talking about the Democrats in the street. I'm talking about the ones in the government right now. So I say Kamala Harris, straight up.
Why?
Well, she's a fraud. She's fake. She's phony. She like CBD weed, man. I can't with that. Nah, and Trump is that czar. We need Trump in office, man. Word up.
How do you feel about like some of Kamala Harris's policies?
What policy? She don't even got a goddamn policy. The only policy she got is that hyena laugh. The only policy she got is talking about Trump. Get Trump out your mouth. All you do is talk about Trump, 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 Trump. Get the hell out of here. You don't got no policies. You should get locked up for theft. You should get locked up for piracy because you're stealing Donald Trump lyrics. Get your own policies. What policies have you gave to the people? None whatsoever. You can ask a Democrat right now, what's Kamala Harris' policies? They don't know not one.
Not wrong,
right.
Jeff.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, we saw how that interview went with Kamala Harris. Asked her about what specifically she would do, and she just, I was born, and my mother, and we did this, we did that. This is great. Doesn't answer the question, not even once.
So embarrassing.
Zero. Not even. Can't even answer the question.
There's no policy. There's only vote for me because Trump bad. And that thing is, people.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's keep on that same vein.
Yeah.
So you remember in the debate, she made a specific reference that the military wasn't any combat zones.
She made
well,
yeah.
Well, here you go.
You guys want to see the greatest video on this app right now?
Please
watch this.
Taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day. We were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. What? But let's understand.
So where the fuck are we right now?
You are the vice president of this country, and you don't know that we have active men and women in the military in combat zones overseas? You literally have the people in these combat zones watching your debate going, what the hell are you talking about? Where do you think we are right now? Don't feel bad, guys. She's made a career out of forgetting about our military.
Yeah,
right.
bringing the hammer, man. Yeah, I saw that video and I was dying. They're like, where the hell do you think we are right now? I mean, instead of watching the debate in a combat zone. Can you imagine? Now, we're supposed to elect her. This is kind of like the Nancy Pelosi philosophy, Jeff. We got to pass the bill to find out what's in the bill. It's kind of like that sort of same line of thinking. We have to elect her so that we can see how you can damage the country further. Because last time I checked, Joe Biden is majorly not even there. I don't know who's running the country. But why doesn't she just say, okay, let's enact my policies now? There's what, 5 months left, 6 months? I mean, why not? Just enact the policies. She's got nothing to run on this, so it's a joke.
So, and it's interesting too, because if you look at where's the number?
I don't know.
I just pulled it up and now I can't. Why is everything? It gets nice and condensed, and then when you actually so the U.S. has approximately 2,500 troops in Iraq and 900 in Syria right now. That's what I was looking for, the number.
What is the number?
2,500 in Iraq and 900 in Syria.
There you go. Imagine being the vice president of the United States and you not know that your military is in an active combat zone. Come on. And I mean, that should be a disqualifier. Like, I mean, it's not like, even when you're running and you don't know that, it's pretty sad, but you're active VP.
What day was the debate? What was the date of the debate?
Was that Tuesday?
Just what?
Tuesday. What's
today?
The 10th.
It was the 10th.
So
Reuters on September 6th had a report on this, which has a plan of complete withdrawals by the end of 2026. So it said the U.S. and Iraq have reached an understanding on plans for the withdrawal of U.S.-led coalition forces from Iraq, according to different sources familiar with it. You know, I always love that. With the date-wise, would see hundreds of troops leave by September of 25, with the remainder departing by the end of 26. And there you go. How could she? And those are both areas that the bases were attacked over not that long ago. So let's look that up. You know, when was the last attack? It was, I believe there were issues in both Iraq and Syria.
Insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just basic stuff you should probably know, but apparently, and I don't know if they don't know. I just think it's like major just gaslighting all over the place, right? I think that might be part of it. It seems to be certainly something.
On August 5th, a missile attack targeted the Al-Assad air base in western Iraq, resulting in injuries to at least 5 U.S. service members and 2 contractors. The attack involved the firing of 2 Katyusha rockets, which landed inside the base. That was August 5th. So how did they even get off? Like, you know, it's insane. July 18th, an Iran-backed militant group attacked a U.S. base in Iraq Tuesday, the first since at least April. So this has been going on this whole time. So for her to say they're not in a combat zone and members of our military have been injured by these attacks, it's the most absurd thing. So for anyone to continue even thinking about supporting somebody like that, you know, to have a complete misstatement on what's happening with our military members overseas that are putting their lives on the front lines over there, that are still in active zones. Man, I don't get it. I don't know how anybody. Look at Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is still loading up X with thinking that, you know, she's the right person to support. Doesn't that really get you to question the logic of the person saying that? Then do you have to then question the rest of their sanity to say, so you're going to support a president like this that has no idea that we have troops in harm's way right now, and you want to send long-range missiles over to Ukraine so they can attack Russia. And we don't even have visibility to what's going on over there, other than they keep telling us, hundreds of thousands, maybe, 1 million people have died. I don't know.
Nobody even knows, right?
Nobody knows what's going on. There was a report today that there was a strike in Moscow. So as they ratchet this up, they're making this, they could have ended this war in the beginning. And now if there is a conflict over there, it's at least being thrown around the airwaves. But that started back in 2015. The whole thing, even you want to predate the conflict in Ukraine, it's gone back a while. They just keep ratcheting up the tension. So it's but definitely it was Hillary Clinton 2015 started ratcheting up the whole Russia hoax. Man, it's crazy. This whole thing is just so crazy. Insane.
It's a little bit
insane.
It's a little bit beyond belief, to be honest. I mean, it's but I was happy to see this here. Let me share my screen again. Here we go.
My Puerto Rican soldier had his PR flags out. That's what's up.
There you go. Ron DeSantis. The state of Florida will be conducting its own investigation regarding the attempted assassination of Trump at International Golf Club. This is up in West Palm Beach, right by Jeff and I. The people deserve the truth about what this would-be assassin and how he was able to get within 500 yards of the former president and current GOP. Then I heard one of the press conferences where they said, well, he's not a sitting president, so that's why there's not a bigger detail.
That's what they kept saying.
This is the second time to try to take him out, okay? I mean, the guy had I don't know, he had some sort of an automated weapon. I don't know what he had, but I mean, like, how does a guy like that get so close? He had a scope and all kinds of other stuff. But Jeff, you'll be happy to know that Adam Schiff, who's gifted $10 million, Shifty Schiff was given $10 million by Fair Shake, having yet to endorse John Deet and run against the most anti-crypto person. Adam Schiff in a primary with a nobody who he was going to win. He's been around Congress for 20 years. He said he was very distressed to hear the armed individuals showed up at Trump's golf course, and he's glad that the former president was not harmed. This madness has to stop. Violence is not the answer to our political differences. What do you think about that, Jeff, about his take there?
Oh, that's I would agree. It's not. I wonder why it is that in 2020 and before then, once Trump was in office, that's all the left did was ratchet up call for violence.
Yeah, that's all. That's
almost 2016, 2020. The whole thing, the whole 4 years, they had a call for violence. So now that it's spiraling out of control, it got to a level that everyone kind of anticipated it would get to at some point. Now all of a sudden they're going to say violence isn't the answer. I mean, that's it. It's so far. I can't comprehend. Not only do the Democrats as at large, they don't support cryptocurrency. They don't support those types of freedoms. They don't want that kind of innovation in this country. They'd prefer to push it all offshore. You see the types of people they're bringing in, with all the illegals coming into this country. They want to fast track them to citizenship. These people are coming in here, zero skill set to do anything. They're not even accustomed to living in Western civilization. They're still coming from areas that are so impoverished. They're lacking most of the essentials, and it takes time to acclimate people into society, and they have to adapt to the new culture and everything, and it takes time. What we see like the complaints up in Ohio, you can't take 20,000 people and dump them in a community of 60,000, and we're talking about people not coming from Florida and say, hey, we got to displace people from Florida because of the hurricane. By the way, you're going to move up to Ohio, and they're going to house you up there, and they're going to figure it out. People from Florida be like, well, at least it's not wintertime yet. We can, we'll figure it out. But we're talking about people they're bringing them in from Haiti en masse and then just dumping them there. No language set, no job, that they're illegals, and they just put them there. Here you go. And they fall in the community, and then they're shocked to see what's happening. But you look at this, and it's like everything that everyone has said that the left is doing, it's all right there in front of our eyes, right to the cheating. And if, it all comes out and ABC was indeed cheating with Kamala Harris, I mean, that's got to go, it's got to be front page headline news. And then it's got to go straight to some sort of a tribunal. I mean, at some point, not only do those people have
does
to
that
be
happen?
fired, you have to question ABC. And then, is Kamala Harris going to resign at that point? Is she going to step down? Of course not. They're going to keep running. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy, but of course, she won the primary. Oh, wait, no, she didn't.
Well, I actually think it's a great thing that she is running, because every time she opens her mouth, I think Trump gets a few points. And the fake polls are meant to all meant to suppress voter turnout.
Yeah.
Some of them are saying like 538, which is a leftist guy. He's 20 points ahead in some states. Oh, we'll just take it easy. We won't even vote because it's a shoo-in, right? That's what they want you to think. That's what I see when I see that.
Look at this. I'm glad I made it to the live stream. I now know that YouTube actively suppressed your channel, so I wasn't getting notifications.
We don't even get them.
Yeah, we don't get our own notifications. We're not going to slow down with this. YouTube and Google have suppressed us to such an extent, and I'm sure every time we say it, I didn't even monetize tonight because I knew the topics and things we're going to play. They were going to they demonetized us yesterday, and now now they've impacted our viewership. They're impacting the total number of subscribers. It's like we see a lot of like new faces or new names that show up, and yet and that they haven't been here in a while, or they're new here, and yet there's no impact. And in fact, go back. I can go video, no one's going back and watching videos from 6 months ago and all of a sudden saying, oh, I'm going to unsubscribe. No, it's just static. Like every so often there's one new subscriber on a view. Typically it's nothing. We don't lose any. And every single day we're losing subscribers, like every day. So we know that we're gaining new subscribers, but they're showing a 0 and they're taking them away, and then they're suppressing people from actually, seeing it. It's the craziest thing. But we'll keep plugging away.
Money says, wait till you get Somalis from the largest refugee camp in the world in Kenya. Every state will be Minnesota. And you saw that, you see, Walls over there talk. He was given a presser today that I watched. He's an embarrassment.
There you go. Look at that. Dean too. Doesn't get them.
Best way to do it is just put it in your calendar. It's the same schedule. So it's 8 o'clock on Sundays and Wednesdays, and 8 a.m. in the morning. And that's New York time. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're outside of the area, you just got to know that. Because I'm knowing people that put it in their phone, they put it on recurring, and then they go, oh, good, with the channel or whatever, and that's how you do it. Sir John, what's going on, Sir John? He says, and if in 2024 America, it's normal for one of the sides to try to assassinate a political wrong thinker, how do they think the rest of the world will accept them as leaders if by any chance they win? That's a good, solid point. And, it was not too long ago that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were criticizing Vladimir Putin, saying he won by 85%. Well, of course he won, because he took out all of his political rivals. Hello. I mean, anybody want to? And then the biggest probably threat to as a Democrat was Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and they made damn sure he didn't get anywhere near a primary. They wouldn't let him in. They tied him up in court. He spent over $10 million. They tried to get him off the ballots. And as soon as he said, I'm with Trump, get me off the ballots, then they went ahead and petitioned the courts to keep him on the ballot. Is that dirty pool? Sounds like dirty pool to me. But this is just the Democrats on how they operate. That's why it's not too much of a stretch to guess where they're going, because you always know where they're going. It's not even like once you know how the left reacts and how they see things, you know exactly what their next move is going to be. So it's not a big stretch.
That's it.
Democracy, Jeff, but democracy. That's what we always have to hear about democracy. Yep. It's always the democracy. And then, so Jungle put up an interesting observation. He goes, I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, but maybe there should be some extra checks when Democrats go buy a gun, because the guy that today was like, he had donated a lot to Act Blue. He was a Democrat. The last 2 years of shootings have been all trans and all Democrats. These mass shootings that happen incidentally only happen on no gun zones. They never happen where people are carrying guns. No, they happen in no gun zones. And the one that happened up in Georgia, that was just pretty close to Atlanta, they wanted the teachers to carry, and the principal came out and said, no way, absolutely not going to carry weapons. Yeah. That would have neutralized it right away. It would have been over and done, right? So this is the kind of thinking you have this leftist thinking, and all teachers, I mean, you can have security and everything you want, but teachers should be carrying. They should be. That's right. I mean, to save other students, right? I mean, at the very least. Then you had this one here, Elizabeth Warren. she's also, Jim. She's like, I'm such a great person. I'm so happy that I I won a scholarship. She says, I'm thankful that the former President Trump was not harmed during an apparent assassination. It's apparent.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't. That's what they're all saying. All the mainstream media is saying, oh, it was a separated incident. It didn't happen near Trump. This is the first sign that they're a bunch of nut jobs. Political violence is never okay. It's never. And I said, yeah, Democrats call Trump Hitler and every name in the book, and then they're shocked when somebody actually tries to take him out. Yep. So it's incredible, Jeff. Well, incredible.
Oh, this video, and we've seen these montage. This one was from 3 years ago. It's so crazy to me that they sit there. They think none of this stuff was recorded. Like all their rhetoric and stuff, So, and this is how it all starts out.
President of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
The vast majority.
What the? You see that?
Of the protesters have been peaceful.
Makes sense on Joe Biden, though.
Republicans stand for law and order, and we stand for justice.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
My administration will always stand against violence, mayhem, and disorder.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I stand with the heroes of law enforcement.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
We will never defund our police. Together, we will ensure that America is a nation of law and order.
We're in high school. I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I think you need to go back and punch him in the face. Feel like punching him.
We just want law and order. Everybody wants that. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. We want law and order. We have to have law and order.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
We believe in safe streets, secure communities, and we believe in law and order.
And there you go.
There you have it.
That's the difference, it's so clear. It's so clear, it'll be good to see all the data as it comes out, but because of the rhetoric and that, their forcefulness of pushing for violent behavior, this is what the outcome is. Like they say, the second shooter had been over in Ukraine fighting. Now he's back here. We'll have to find out as the data comes out. Yeah. So as it comes out, the other thing is they were pushing the narrative that the first round, the assassination attempt, it was a lone wolf. So he's so well prepared with accounts overseas, and the equipment that he had, all of this stuff, so well prepared, but it was just him. That's
no social media either, Jeff.
No social media. Yeah. And so that's why even the CEO and founder of BlackRock Security was telling DeSantis, you got to get ahead of this thing, and you got to start, you need to take control of the investigation. Don't let the feds take control of the investigation because it's going to be buried. And so DeSantis got ahead of it. He's investigating it, and we're going to get actual data and information out of it. But they're going to start connecting the dots that these incidents aren't lone wolves, just like all these lone wolf, terrorist attacks that they buried that happened in this country too. They just bury them like they don't exist, and they're all tied back because they're all motivated by the international organization. So
here's an interesting post by Dean Robinson. It says, I'm from Minnesota. Waltz ruined the state with a small population, and Minneapolis will never rid the state of Omar. It's a loss down there. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. But when you bring in a population that's going to go ahead and support somebody that not only hates America, but is an open anti-Semite, right? I mean, can you imagine openly declaring, the death of Israel? Like, this is somebody who's sitting in Congress, yet nothing ever happens, right? Because you have a population that's voting for that. It's unbelievable. But yeah, Dean, appreciate you sharing that. It is sad to see. And, this guy Waltz is such a lightweight. My God, he's a lightweight. So he's going to be going up against J.D. Vance. Now, J.D. Vance was recently on CNN, and this is how he handled Dana Bash. Now, Dana Bash, if you remember, that was the first sit-down interview with both Harris and Waltz, and it was supposedly a 45-minute interview. They cut down to 25 or 26 minutes. They edited it up real nice, packaged it up. It was so nice that Dana Bash would give multiple choice questions. So do you think this, or that, right? Teed them up. Here it is on a platter. Go ahead and answer one of the questions, right? And so here we are. J.D. Vance made the appearance on 3 of the morning talk shows, the political talk shows, and Waltz Harris made 0, Jeff. 0 appearances once again. Now talking to local media.
Anna, would you like to ask me questions and then let me answer them, or would you like to debate me on these topics? I noticed that when you had Kamala Harris and Tim Waltz, you gave them multiple choice answers to the questions that you asked, and you allowed them to answer the questions. I'm happy to be here to talk about policy, but if you're going to interrupt me every single time that I open my mouth, then why am I even doing this? So please ask a question, and I'd ask you to be polite enough to let me answer it.
Yes.
Yes. And then they were quarreling about something else where she was trying to fact check him and tell him this and that. And he hammered her again. I mean, it's come on, man. It's not even subtle anymore. It's so crazy.
It's all orchestrated. So here's Bill Ackman. This was 17 minutes ago. Why has he not responded to the accusations leveled by the whistleblower? One has to draw a negative inference. Nothing. It's been hours. And you can't come out and say it's a lie. It's not true. You know, ABC's getting hammered. And
they're getting legaling up, Jeff. They're attorneys. That's what they're doing.
Oh, I'm sure they are. But previously, you didn't have the number of billionaires coming out and coming after them. These are billionaires like Bill Ackman that pulled all of his funding from the Ivy League schools. He was donating huge amounts of money to Ivy League, no longer doing that. And he's got time. He also had some brush with, I forgot who it was. You remember, over his wife's dissertation of something, and he voiced this whole thing out in her company. And there was that was part of the red pilling process. But you get all these billionaires that are coming out now. Peter Thiel, I think we have something from Elon Musk on there too. You know, those guys, and Elon Musk, he went through his process. Peter Thiel, Bill Ackman, the list goes on and on and on. Then you get someone like a Mark Cuban. Eventually that guy's got to come around, unless,
I don't know if he does.
He's being controlled. Maybe he's being controlled too much. I don't know. Or he's controlling.
No, I just think he's just really he's a believer. He's all in believer, man. He's he's an all in kind of a.
But all these guys were. Bill Ackman was too.
Yeah, he was. He might come around. So this is a little bit more.
First of all, let me just respond to a couple of things that you said. But I want to start with something you said, which I think is frankly disgusting and is more appropriate for a Democratic propagandist than it is for an American journalist.
Did you see how she did one of these, Jeff? Like, what? Watch your face again. This is great. Watch your response.
A couple of things that you said. But I want to start with something you said, which I think is frankly disgusting and is more appropriate for a Democratic propagandist than it is for an American journalist. There is nothing that I have said that has led to threats against these hospitals. These hospitals, the bomb threats and so forth, it's disgusting. The violence is disgusting. We condemn it. We condemn all violence.
Senator, this happened after you and President Trump were on the debate stage, said that cats and dogs were being eaten.
You asked a question,
and
and I'm going to go ahead and answer it. What we have said is that this town has suffered terribly under the policies of Kamala Harris. Now, you just accused me of inciting violence against the community when all that I've done is surface the complaints of my constituents, people who are suffering because of Kamala Harris's policies. Are we not allowed to talk about these problems because some psychopaths are threatening violence? We can condemn the violence on the one hand, but also talk about the terrible consequences of Kamala Harris's open border on the other hand. Now, let me just fact check a couple of other things that you said, Dana, because it's important. You said that all of these migrants are in the country legally. They are in the country through what's called temporary protective status.
Right.
That is when Kamala Harris waved a magic amnesty wand, taking people and giving them legal status. That is not that is not to say that they're here legally. That is a terrible indictment of her amnesty policies that have further opened the border and further
but it's
caused
not illegal.
terrible migration into this country.
First
First of all, I have heard firsthand from multiple constituents, people who made 911 calls a month ago, a year ago, who were making these complaints. I trust my constituents more than I do the American media that has shown no interest in what's happened in Springfield until we started sharing cat memes on the internet, which is disgraceful that the American media ignored this town. And that's the most important part.
You represent Ohio here in Washington, and your state's governor is asking for federal help to deal with the influx of about 15,000 migrants over the past 4 years, which has strained the health system. He says schools, caused safety issues. You've been talking about these problems, but what have you done to help Governor DeWine with his request for federal?
Did you see what just happened there, Jeff?
No, I missed that one.
The switch around. She said, "You are the governor, or you're the senator from Ohio, and this problem you just said it's been going on for years. This immigration, 15, 20, 40,000 illegals going in there. Now, what have you done? What have you done, sir, to stop this from happening? What have you done to help Governor DeWine, who's a rhino, by the way, terrible governor? What have you done to help him? She turns it around on him. This is unbelievable. Kamala Harris brings all these people. Biden brings all these people in there. And now, what have you been doing, mister? Listen, this is unbelievable.
Graceful that the American media ignored this town. And that's the most important part.
You represent Ohio here in Washington, and your state's governor is asking for federal help to deal with the influx of about 15,000 migrants over the past 4 years, which has strained the health system. He says schools, caused safety issues. You've been talking about these problems, but what have you done to help Governor DeWine with his request for federal help?
Well, the most important thing that we can do to assist Governor DeWine and the whole state of Ohio, and frankly the whole country, Margaret, is to stop Kamala Harris's open border. And for 2 years, I've been fighting for policies that do exactly that. You have to ask yourself, why have these 20,000 Haitian migrants been dropped into a small Ohio town in just a few years, Margaret? And the answer is because Kamala Harris implemented what's called temporary protective service for over 100,000 Haitian migrants. She basically, with a magic wand, granted amnesty to thousands of people who shouldn't have been in this country, and now a small Ohio town is dealing with the consequences. And to anybody listening, Margaret, this is what Kamala Harris wants to do to every town in this country. Overwhelm them with migration, stress their municipal budgets, see communicable diseases on the rise. What is happening in Springfield is coming to every town and city in this country. If Kamala Harris's open border policies are allowed to continue, we have got to stop this. American citizens.
I love how he doesn't let her talk. And he keeps saying, right, Margaret. Listen, Margaret. He keeps saying her name. I love how he always uses the people.
Citizens are suffering because of what she's done. And
it's cheaper to manufacture overseas, which is why so many companies do it. But that's another issue. Just to follow up on the promise you're making to working class voters, you are now saying no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on income from Social Security.
That sounds pretty good, right, Jeff? Like this sounds like this is going to be good for the American people.
Stuff. Oh yeah, come over here, give them all sorts of free stuff.
No, but I'm saying, but the no tax on tips, right? Because nobody wants to do overtime because you get time and a half, but you get destroyed with taxes, right? Everyone that works anywhere when it's worked overtime, they'll tell you that, right? So no tax on tips, right? All these things are good for American people, right?
That would wipe out a big chunk of the tax base. Do you really think that fiscally conservative Republicans in Congress are going to vote for this?
Jeez, Margaret.
Well, I think obviously Republicans believe American workers should keep more of their own money. And yes, I think that if we actually balance this out by penalizing some of these companies for manufacturing overseas, I do think that we can get this to balance out in the right way, Margaret, where we're not blowing a hole in the deficit. We're giving workers more of their money. But to your point, we're actually making it easier to make things in the United States of America. Now, you're exactly right. Sometimes it is a little bit cheaper to manufacture overseas, but we have to ask why that is. It's because a lot of these foreign countries use literal slave labor in manufacturing. We should not be allowing slave laborers to benefit from American markets. If you want access to our market, you've got to pay our workers fair wages. That is the Trump agenda, and it's something he already implemented once, by the way, Margaret, but is going to double down on in his second term. Dana, would you like to ask me questions and then let...
Anyway, that was... He's JD's he's very calm, man. Very calm, cool,
he's super
collective.
calm. He presents his case really well. Amazing argument. And I think it's just overall just the way he carries himself. I mean, I don't think that the media was prepared for him. I don't think, anybody from the left was prepared for him just because of the way he can build a case. And he just says it so well, and then you look at all these things that are going on. They keep claiming that there aren't pets being harmed. And yet there's video after video after video coming from the Ohio area of people that have been, have had their cats or dogs or animals harmed. Some of these are just humor, but look at it. It's crazy to see. There's so many people that have come out, people that have been killed, and it's just too much.
Defending this record is insane. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, this all started, I was kind of there's one in here they captured a guy killing a cat that, and he was going to obviously eat it. And then the ones that are carrying, there's that one. Here's the accident of it was a Haitian illegal that crashed into this and they're just crashing tons of them, and a lot of people have died and they shouldn't have died. Now granted, you can go outside, you'll get in an accident driving down I-95. The point is these people shouldn't be in this country, and and it's causing just chaos. But then they have the geese that are disappearing, and I'm trying to find, here's one, here you've got them just roasting it. This was in Italy though. That's old. That's not the one. Where is it?
But there was one that had a dog on a grill, and
it's
like, listen, man.
There's another one I saw they were roasting. Yeah.
Well, one of the JD Vance's other things he was talking about there was she was hammering him on.
You don't want to see that one.
Oh well, we talked to the city planner, and they said that everything was fine. He said no. They said they had no evidence. That doesn't mean it's not happening. You know what? As a journalist, you think you go on the ground and start looking around and seeing what you could find rather than take somebody's word for it, right? I mean, it's amazing. But Sir John, this is one of the reasons I love doing the show and doing the podcast, is because of comments like this. Dante forgot to write about the last circle of hell where mass media journalists will end. There you go. Dante's Inferno. I'm thinking you referred to. That's funny. BMAX says, I had a girlfriend in grad school around 2011 to 2015-ish. She was from Indonesia, great person and intentions, but she couldn't even get a green card. Things have changed so dramatically. It's terrifying. It really is.
It's crazy.
So this is what I'm saying about somebody who's a PhD, who has everything to contribute, who wants to come here and be part of a productive society, who wants to come here legally, who applies for a green card and gets denied. Yet somebody walks across the border with no intentions, bad intentions, emptied out from prison. Yeah, sure. Here's a $2,200 a month card. Here's your free room and board. Here is this, here's that. And prioritizing, I think the biggest thing is prioritizing illegals over citizens. That's another big problem. So a lot of there was a nurse that was just shocked the other day where an illegal had come in and already had a Medicaid card. She goes, I don't have a Medicaid card. People here don't even have the cards. She's been in the country for 5 days. She already got a Medicaid card. Where did she get the card? Who greenlit that? And how many of them are out there? And she's already taken services, right? And she said, as a single mom, I'm struggling to make ends meet, right? And I can't even pay for services for my kid. And I'm a citizen here and I'm working. Yet somebody comes in illegally, they get a card. I mean, this is the frustration of the people. And most people, I know I was going back and forth with somebody, I think it was Lionel over there in Spain. I was saying like, no, somebody had made that thing like, well, that's weird that JD Vance and Trump are against, hate immigrants. They're both married to them. Well, so am I. But they came in legally, right? I'm also married to somebody who came here from another country, but illegal. The right is for legal immigration. We want people to come in legally. We want them to be vetted. We want them to come in. I'm not against people coming in the country. I mean, I'm all for it, but it's not fair to somebody who's going through the work, spending 6 months, a year, 4 years, waiting, doing the paperwork, doing all the right things to be denied access. When somebody just walks across the border, that's not the right way to do it.
That's right. And definitely 100% not. I have friends, family, direct family that had to come over here. My stepdad is from the Philippines, and he came, and his sister had applied to come over, because you have to apply to come over. You can't just get a visa to come over here. So she had applied and she waited like 15 plus years. And by that time she was married, had a family, and she wasn't going to come. And that was it. She didn't come, but you hear
15
that
years.
you have people that come here from India to study in university. As soon as they get their degree, they have a period of time they got to leave because they have their student visa. You have to get someone to sponsor you to get a work visa. Now here you have someone that graduated with an electric engineering degree or computer science degree or whatever it might be, and they don't let them, they won't let them stay in this country. It's just crazy. Look how slow I'm getting slow.
This is,
You
I
see
don't know
that?
what happened. Yeah, that
There
happened
we
the other
go.
night too. Chad says the level of poverty that exists in Haiti would make you physically ill, and this ties back to what Jeff was saying. It's so unbelievable that you're right about that, Chad. Most people wouldn't even fathom it; they can't even understand it. Which is why, if you come to a country and you see cats roaming around, you're like in heaven. You're like, okay, because why are they eating cats? Because, well, two things. I mean, first of all, they practice the religion of voodoo, right? So there's a spiritual connection to it, but there's also the connection of like, oh my gosh, if you're at home and you see a cat, that's a meal, right? It's a different thing. It's because of the poverty driving. I mean, in other sort of countries where people aren't eating cats, and if it was a last resort, maybe they're eating cat. But in Haiti, it's very common because that's food source. So if you come here, of course, you're not going to adapt well. What do you know about driving a car? You don't even have a place to live. You're living in a poorly constructed, a structure that won't even protect you from the elements. And on top of it, you're getting a hurricane or an earthquake that's hitting, Haiti. Haiti's had 500-600 years of just massively bad luck. It's been condemned. It's been brutal. And it's not like my heart doesn't go out to these people, but there's a right way to do it. And the way it's being done, and it shouldn't be all the focus on just the Haitians that are coming in here. They're coming in for a better life. But again, you got to do it the right way. Bring them in legally, figure out a way to offer, to make it work, not just wave a wand and say, okay, we're just going to dump you in this community. And it's not going to work. If you put 20,000 people in a community of 30,000 people, it's just not going to work, Jeff.
It's totally devastating. It's definitely is not going to work. And it's being proven time and time again. So, but I just want to throw this up here real quick. And this is really important because, Elon Musk has been staying on top of things like this. This goes back to 2021. This is what they've acknowledged, right? And this is all purposeful. This wasn't accidental, because you don't get your driver's license and then get registered to vote when you're illegal. They know you don't have a social number. You're going through this whole process of getting your ID, and you're like, well, they don't even speak English. At least there should be some, question reference. But this is Oregon. So you're going to tell me in Oregon they weren't planning this? And again, they got caught. This is what they admitted to. But the DMV admitted to registering at least hundreds of, we don't know what that means. Is that 200? Here it says at least 306, but at least. So what is that going to be? 400, 500, 900? How many is it that they're, that they really did? But due to errors in its auto voter registration system. Additionally, every registered voter is sent ballots by mail. The audit is still ongoing and more illegal registration. So to that point, there's an action all over the United States that is for election security. We're going to try if we can participate in this. I've been talking to the organizers of it. The last conference call that they had, it's all about election security. They're hosting a Zoom call on Wednesday, September 25th at 1:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when it starts. We're going to try to be part of their live stream. So they do a live Zoom. So if there's a way that we can pull their feed, the last Zoom call they had about 80,000 people attending with various platforms tuning in and live streaming. This one, they anticipate to have about 200,000 people watching as part of their event. It's all about preparing and what is being done for election security in this country to protect against things like this. And it's a national initiative. I've spoken to the people in local and South Florida about it. People are actively going to the supervisor of election office and double checking mail-in ballots, and they're going on a regular basis and verifying signatures and looking to see if there's any duplicity going on and what they can catch. And again, it's happening on a national level. So that's, really, really critical in terms of what has been, happening here and all over the place.
I was having a sneeze attack there for a second there, Jeff. By the way, Mark Smith, and congratulations on finishing your PhD. And that was Pizza Hut delivery. So we sort of tie that back into that. Here's our viewer, Crypto Whelp over there from Belgium on Twitch. My grandfather was feeding me cats for years. He was true World War II, figured out when I was 15 years old. He always said it was rabbit. I went to a Chinese restaurant in Canada across the border from where I grew up. And we always saw, there was an unusual amount. It was right on the river, on the Niagara River. And there was always a lot of cats. And we always joked like, there's cat. They were probably eating cat. Well, we were, because they got busted for it. And I remember hearing about that like a little bit later after I'd already gone to college, and they were like, yeah, they got busted for eating cats. Well, like we joked about it, like how could it have been? There was always like 60 or 70 cats roaming around out back, and we're like, I don't know, maybe it was pretty good. I mean, I must have eaten it at some point. I ate all kinds of stuff there. I mean, I must have eaten something.
Yep.
Tastes like chicken. Who knows?
Yeah. So BMAC is saying he's considering applying to work at the polls somehow. So there's two different ways you can work at the polls. One way is that you can go as a poll worker, and you'll get paid to work there for whatever period of time. And then if you're part of, let's say, a registered Republican, you can go and be a poll watcher on behalf of the Republican Party. So you have a Democrat poll watcher and there's a Republican poll watcher, and you can be at the poll making sure that there's no shenanigans going on. So you can't really engage with the people per se, but you can go and inspect the voting machines. You can watch and look for irregularities. And like in South Florida, for instance, if you're a poll watcher, that there's an irregularity, there are attorneys on standby waiting for phone calls. And so if they see an irregularity, they call the attorney, and the attorney immediately files a motion with the state to say that at this precinct, this is what was reported, and they immediately take action. It's different in every state, but if you want to get involved in it, that's a really critical point.
Yeah, BMAX says, FYI, my PhD was in physics. Unlike most of my colleagues, I decided not to go work for the big defense contractors. Well, there, good for you, man. You have morals and a brain. There you have it. Amazing. Here we go.
Eating the dogs, the people.
Oh, yeah, you got that one up.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that
I was gonna say.
That's not you going to be eating a dog there, Jeff. I mean, it's like just
the post that said this kid doesn't even location.
I wanted to play this last one before we get out of here, but this is an award that was given to President Trump. It's pretty interesting. By the way, this is by a Gold Star family, right? Gold Star family, someone who lost a loved one in combat.
First off, I'm a veteran of 10 years, and when this happened, it spoke to me in a way that I can't put into words. When I was asked to be a part of this and make this on behalf of the Abbey Coalition, I knew I had to do something special. So this knife, one of my best friends is the operator that exterminated al-Baghdadi. Yeah. And this blade is forged with steel from the door that al-Baghdadi was hiding behind. The black part of the steel in this Sami blade, steel directly from that door. The guard is 18th century wrought iron from a wagon wheel that crossed the U.S. on the Oregon Trail. The handle is white oak from the last known tree that George Washington planted that fell at Mount Vernon at 240 years old. And the backdrop is the actual shirt that the operator wore when he shot al-Baghdadi in the face. It is an absolute honor to present this on behalf of the Abbey Coalition.
Wow, that's impressive.
pretty wild, man.
Wow,
they put a lot of thought behind that. An incredible amount of thought that went into that, man. You have to give it up.
That Dean, Mr. Trump truly cares about veterans, of which I am one. That care translates to the rest of us all as Americans. And thank you for your service. And thank you everyone out there, if you're listening, for your service and what you've done for this country. And you can definitely tell the difference between those on the left that seem to have animosity for our troops, our soldiers,
They love
or
war,
just
Jeff.
a lack of caring of and then you have Trump that has been so passionate, and so it really resonates. And I think without them having to constantly belabor their point on the left, they're always talking about it, it just comes out in action, versus words. So
yeah, well, we might have to play this. This isn't an oldie but goodie, but I think we should play it on the way out. We'll just do a this on the way out. We'll say goodbye now, but again, we'll play this because this kind of sums it all up. And let's put it full screen, Jeff.
Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.